Here we have the Monstera albo, I always have to look at the names, the Monstera Standleyana albo variegata. Very long names when you have variegated plants like this. Now this is going to be typical Monstera care, but I always like to help with the more rare plants because people tend to be a little bit more nervous with them. Mostly because of the price. Also, you know, they're really pretty and we don't want to kill them. But if you've had success with other philodendron or other Monstera, this one is going to be extremely similar to those. But let's get into the care instructions. First, like with all Monstera, we need to give them bright light. Especially so when we have the heavily variegated versions of the Monstera, any plant really, because all of the parts that are white are not photosynthesizing. So they're just freeloaders. They are there making the plant look really nice. They are taking nutrients and energy from the plant to stay alive and looking nice and fresh and healthy. But they're not giving any health or life to the plant in return. So they're just sort of sucking energy, not giving any back. For that reason, we want to maximize the potential photosynthesis of the parts of the leaf that are green by giving them a very nice wide view of the sky. Now it's possible that they can burn if you put them too close to a window, especially if you know it's really hot, say from a south-facing window or a west-facing window. They often have quite high temperatures, especially during the summertime. So be wary of that and move it away from the window a couple of feet. Adjust that as needed to prevent leaf burn. As far as watering goes, I like to water when they're about 25% dry during the spring and summer months. This is their active growth season. The spring and summer is when you're going to see the most growth from your plant. And then during the winter time, we back that off to about 50% dry in between waterings. They go dormant during the winter time. You're going to see little, maybe no new growth at all. And for that reason, they kind of go into a little bit of a hibernation of sorts, okay? They're not taking up as many nutrients, our days are much shorter, so they sort of hunker down for the winter time. But again, during the spring and summer months, I would fertilize this with a general purpose fertilizer. You can use liquid soluble, you can use granule fertilizer, either of those is perfectly fine. I like to repot these plants also during the spring and the summer months during active growth season whenever the roots start coming out of the bottom drainage system, or at least every 2 years to refresh the soil. I like to use a standard aeroid soil mix. We sell that here in the shop, but you can also make your own quite easily. It's 1 part houseplant soil mixed with 1 part perlite and 1 part orchid bark or cocoa husk. We need something very chunky in there to get air down to the roots. Now this is a climbing plant, so it will go upward if you allow it. But if you don't give it something to climb up, that's perfectly fine. It'll sort of trail and be a little bit funky and wild, and that's perfectly fine. But that's going to do it for the care instructions for the Monstera Standleyana albo variegata. If you have any questions about this plant, let me know in the comments below.